Okie dokie, boys and girls. You can call me Larry the Lobster because remember that video I made regarding winning against the weather and taking the weather as a challenge, and especially for me, the summer, the sun as a challenge. Well, yesterday I took up a challenge. I spent 2 hours in the sun. My back was facing the sun. I was doing some work, and the sun challenged me back. I'm a fucking red lobster, boys, but can you really call it a loss? I'm not counting it a loss against the weather. I went out there and I sat there for 2 hours. So let's call it a draw. But anyway, today today we have a fucking push workout, and I'm looking forward to it, because I have a strategy going forward regarding push training, which is gonna be upping the frequency. You know, I think if you want to get good at something, you have to do it frequently. Frequency is the best way to get better at something. That's for every skill that you have in life. It's when you're playing the piano, when you go to your job, you get good at it because you do it probably 5 times a week, right? All day, every day. And then in training, it's the same, where you can max out once a week and get good hypertrophy gains. Of course, excellent hypertrophy gains because you're getting all that recovery. But when it comes to pure strength and moving the most weight possible, getting the best performance possible, the training itself that you're doing, the movement that you're doing is a skill as well. When you're doing a planche, people call it a skill, but it's also true for a handstand push-up. It's also true for a bench press, a squat. Every movement or static exercise also, right, that you can think of is a skill. There's a way to do it, right? And your body can adapt to it. And the more you allow your body to do something, the better it's going to adapt. So my strategy going forward, because I'm going to focus on planche for a while, my strategy going forward is to increase the push days, right? Especially in Japan, I'm not going to be able to squat heavy. I'm not always going to have a pull-up bar, perhaps, but what I can do is, take some tiny push-up bars and always do a quick little planche. So I think going into Japan, I'm just going to focus on the planche, increase the frequency, and basically try to get more volume in that way, because getting adapted, that's volume, volume, volume. But the best way to do volume, it's not about how much you can do in one training. It's more about how much you can do over a long period of time. If you do a lot in one training once a week, that's great. But someone who does a little every day, 7 days a week, right? He's gonna do more than that guy that did one training. That's just inevitable. That's how it works. So that's kind of the way I'm gonna go forward, right? And well, if it's gonna work or not, we'll just have to wait and see. It's less of a muscle building approach, which I'm bulking, so I think that would be beneficial as well to build muscle. But I believe that if you get stronger and you eat enough food, no matter what you do, right, you're gonna put on muscle. It might not be the most efficient way, but I'm not really worried about that. Here and there, I might be doing some more intense training, closer to failure. But what I've been doing until now is like 80% going to failure and 20% like leisurely, a bit lighter. And I think doing the opposite will not hurt me. So that's what I'm gonna try and go for. Today, the goal is to have 10 sets of full planche that are meaningful. And what I mean by meaningful is just not struggling to get 2 seconds of a hold, basically, right? I want to be able to relatively comfortably do 10 sets of full planche, whether it be a press or a push-up or a little hold or a small combination, right? If I can get to 10 sets, I will be happy. I will not go to my maximum because tomorrow I'm planning on doing the same thing. So if I feel at set number 6 that, hey, I'm getting tired, this is too heavy, then I'll stop and I'll just do the same tomorrow, basically. The goal today is to do just enough that I get a stimulus, but also that I'm able to recover tomorrow and do it all over again. That's basically the strategy. So I'm gonna head outside, hopefully not burn my back even more because the sun is out already. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I almost forgot about this classic. Almost. Warm up done, let's go. That was quite difficult, but it went okay. Let's do a couple more sits. We are only at sit number 3. No need to rush. Alright, I'm starting to feel my endurance going right now, but I can get a couple more sits, and this is how you get perhaps more endurance, more adaptation. We'll see. Okay, so it's sit number 6. My power is clearly gone. I am not gonna do any more full planche, which, I mean, I have to be honest with myself, but that's fucking pathetic, right? 6 sets of planche, full planche, not that hard. I feel like my power goes down quickly along the sets. In the first set, I feel super light, and I think I can go for like ages, and then it just drops down. So maybe I'm just overestimating myself, but yeah, I think if I work on this, just get more volume in planche. I used to be able to do multiple sets of Maltese and planche and stuff like that when I was 60 kilos and a whole lot younger. In my first 3 years of calisthenics, I basically purely did front lever and planche. And, at that time I was doing way more volume, so I felt way lighter as well. Maybe that's something I have to go back to, right? And if there is one thing that I'm certain of, it's like, bam! That doesn't make sense, does it? Like, if you do this planche for like volume, you feel it in your shoulders. Yes, you did not go to your max, or you didn't go often to your max, but there's still so much pressure on your shoulders the entire time, so much pressure on your biceps, right? Like, the accumulative volume will make sure that you build muscle if you eat enough, right? Like, the reason a lot of calisthenics athletes stay skinny is because they want to, lighter body equals better skills. That's just inevitable, that's gravity. But if you want to build muscle and do calisthenics, that's entirely possible. Just eat, pick the fork up. That's how they say it. So I'm gonna do one more set just of straddle planche and then call it quits for the day. But yeah, that's gonna be fun. Let's go. Ja, wat lief? Het is warm, ja. Het wordt nog 33 vandaag. Okay, so after a straddle planche sit and a quick chat with the neighbor, planche gains and social skill gains have been achieved. Now, was today's workout a success? Well, there's multiple factors to this, right? Let's head over to them one by one. I think I'll have 3. So first of all, did I enjoy the fucking workout? That's the most important part. Yes, I did. This was actually quite fucking fun. Last time I also had this kind of, less intense but more chill planche workout where I didn't really have any expectations of the amount of reps I want to hit or something. But very fun. I enjoyed it. I looked forward to it because I knew what I was going to do, right? I was looking forward to this workout from yesterday, and I'm looking forward to doing it again tomorrow. So that's one success. Second part, are planche gains being made? And in my opinion, yes. I feel like I had a good stimulus in the planche, and basically, yeah, got some meaningful volume in there, which is important, right? If you don't feel like you did anything, right, then your workout might not have been meaningful in the first place. But unless you're doing this recovery workout and you just want to get some blood flowing, you're doing some band stuff and things like that. But when you want to train to get stronger, you need to get some kind of stimulus, because if your body doesn't have a reason, then why would it grow stronger? Your body has to expend energy to grow stronger back from these workouts. So that's part number two. I think it worked well today. And then the third one is the balance part, right? Because you can have a stimulus that is super strong, but in case you want to, up the frequency, then you want to be, recovered more frequently as well. So in my case, I want to do another planche workout tomorrow. And that's the real factor that's going to be, left to be determined. I don't know yet, right? Can I do the same or better tomorrow with the same amount of effort? That's the most important part. Am I able to recover fully until tomorrow? So there is a reason I only did one stand-up planche sit. So let's say, I'm doing the full planche. That's my goal. I want to train the full planche. If I break my body down after I am done doing full planche and I go all the way to my limit in stand-up planche and then advanced tuck and tuck planche and lean planche and I spam basics, right? If I beat my body down like that, right, to the point that my body is going to be having difficulty doing lower progressions, well, I'm going to have to recover from that. That doesn't happen in one day. So I tried to manage my intensity today by only keeping it at one stand-up planche sit, which wasn't even that intense. It was just a little bit longer, only 5 reps of push-ups, so not very long, but still a little bit longer, to get, I don't know, I guess a bit of a burn, right? It feels good. And basically allow myself, or the purpose of that is to allow myself to recover until tomorrow. Now, will that happen? That's yet to be determined. I still have a night of sleep that I have to achieve. I have to get my 8 hours. I have to eat well. I have to do this and that, get a shower. You know what I'm saying? The typical recovery stuff. And then tomorrow, I will be able to see if today's workout was a true success because, factor one and two of the three, those I can determine today, right? It was a good stimulus and I enjoyed myself. That's something you can always know just right after your workout or even during your workout. But in terms of recovery, how well are you going to recover? Well, you can guess, my guess is tomorrow I'm going to be recovered. That's something to be yet determined. So we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a typical skill day that I used to do all the time back in the days, which is, just pull and push blended together, no particular order, just whatever I feel like doing. Couple sets here of planche, couple sets there of front lever, couple sets mixed, whatever, we'll see. But it's gonna be the same team as today, where I'm not gonna destroy myself, and I'm just gonna enjoy myself. Not to say that those don't go together. I really enjoy destroying my body as well, but I do realize that sometimes I need some recovery. You need some recovery as well. People, I guess, tend to overestimate themselves sometimes and think, well, I can handle it, but then they run face first against the wall. And I'm talking from experience here. Many, many times I have had the same things. But anyway, I'm gonna have a shower, have some breakfast, and see you tomorrow for another sunny workout.